It's funny. I'm taking less joy from being right than I thought I would. It's good. I guess it's because I think I'm right. Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's episode 5 of the Better Merch, Better Marketing podcast. I'm Kirby Hasseman. Joining me today, Jade Kreider. Jade, how the heck are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. This, I think everybody I know has this like lingering crud that's a little bit of here and a little bit of here. I feel really good, but I keep having to clear my throat and all that stuff. And so I'm convinced that I just need to get outside, and I'm looking forward to when that happens. So that
is valid.
Yeah.
I thought we were on the mend here in Colorado. I thought we were finally starting to see the sun. We had a couple 75 and sunny degree days, whatever, beautiful days. And then we got 6 inches of snow last night. So
I actually was talking about it. I made a sort of a resolution that I wasn't going to complain about the cold, and I did great for a long time. And I really have allowed myself to fall back into the habit a little bit. And I literally said today, I'm like, snow was on the ground for an extended period of time. And then when it melted, it was like, oh, I just decided it was springtime. And so I stopped wearing long johns. I'm wearing golf shirts, light jackets, and then I'm complaining that I'm cold. So I'm not controlling the controllables here. And so I've decided today that I'm like, nope, I'm going to start dressing for the weather again. I think that'll help.
Yeah, I think it will help. And also, I feel like one of the things that I want people to comment, because I was curious about this morning, what temperature do you keep your house at? And it can be seasonal if you change that. However, it is the argument in my house currently that if there's snow on the ground, 66 is too cold. And he turns it down to 64 while we sleep. I think Mom kept it at 73 while I was there in the middle of summer and in the middle of winter. So I just am curious what everybody else keeps it at, because I always feel like that's a fun thing to ask about. So everybody comment, because I'm curious.
I love that. and yeah, we keep we do not enjoy being cold at my house. So yeah. So if you are new around here, Better Merch, Better Marketing podcast is a weekly podcast where Jade and I talk about all things merch and marketing. It's brought to you by Hasseman Marketing. And our big reminder this week is that Employee Appreciation Day is coming up March 7th. Jade's been doing some videos on it. What was the statistic you threw out today?
Employees are 7 times more likely to stay with you for another year if they feel appreciated in the workplace.
That's a great stat. I love it. So yes, if you would like ideas about that, just hit us up. You can learn more about us at hassemanmarketing.com. So
you really put me on the spot there with that. So thanks.
I did. I was pretty sure I knew it, but yeah, no, I'm glad. Great job. So we have been saying we're taking on some topics, and several of them have been sort of current events and topical. And when we're talking about marketing, the biggest event in marketing, I think, is the Super Bowl. It also is a football game, although it wasn't much of one this year, much to my dismay. Because I love football and I love the commercials. So like the Super Bowl I get very excited. And so when it was 17-0, just like that, I was like, oh, okay. All right. Well, that's going to be not as good. So, but we wanted to kind of talk about those ads. I have sort of a list of the ones that I sort of felt like they won. And I think you've got some ones that you like, but you have some that you aren't as excited about. Is that right?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
I've got a mixture. Also, I thought of you when I saw the Charmin one that was like the potty break that Charmin did. I thought of you because you joked that you never get to pee during the Super Bowl. So
they
I
actually
thought that
were
was funny.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, it was one that I was like, oh, okay, I see what they did there. All right, well, you want to go first with the ones you like, or do you want me to go first?
I'll do my ones I like first.
Okay,
I have 2 that I liked that made me laugh. The first one is a little less like I was really excited about it, but the DoorDash, he kept buying stuff because he was saving money on DoorDash, and I thought that was funny because it hit home with girl math.
Yeah,
girl math. It's free. And so that one made me laugh out loud. And the other one I feel like was a win for everybody I've talked to, which was the Bud Light cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Shane Gillis and what's his face?
Post Malone.
Post Malone, thank you, are 2 of my favorites. And so you put them in a commercial together and joke about a cul-de-sac party, I'm in 100%.
it was probably my favorite one. It was my,
Yeah.
and again, targeted at me, right? Like I am
For sure.
but
Mhm.
I mean, they pulled in Peyton Manning and
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the trending thing is going to be figuring out how you can shoot Bud Lights out of leaf blowers.
Mhm.
I know
sure.
that everybody's like, hey, don't do that, but can I do that?
Can we?
Yeah, so
Do we have an old leaf blower we don't mind breaking if this fails?
yeah, I mean, somebody's gonna get a serious injury if they get hit with a
For
beer.
sure.
Yeah, I like that one. So Bud Light was on my list. I actually liked the Uber Eats with Matthew McConaughey,
Mm.
where he was doing the whole because conspiracy theories are everywhere now. It seems like everything's a conspiracy theory, and so the idea that the whole idea of football was created to make you hungry and sell you food, I thought that, and I liked it. The other thing I liked about it is that, man, they started those ads like months ago. Like it started with just like one and Matthew McConaughey's talk. I thought that one was fun, and probably the one that that caught me off guard and made me laugh the most was a Mountain Dew ad with Seal. So Seal was a seal surrounded by seals singing Baja Baja.
It's so up your alley.
It was I literally, it was so funny because we're watching it and Sky and Keith and the boys were over and like he turns around and Seal, I was like, it's Seal on a seal. Like I was so excited. So,
some of the commercials, I feel like a lot of them this year, like were kind of like targeted at a niche group of people, and that one was, I feel like more up your alley because I was like, okay,
yeah, okay, I like it.
I
okay.
didn't vibe with that one as much.
Yeah, okay. And so you said you had a couple that you were like, what the?
Yeah, WTF was what I wrote, and these are my list of WTF. The first one was the Hellman's mayonnaise commercial with the obnoxious moaning. A lot of people were like, my grandma was next to me. So I thought that one was what? The Tubi cowboy hats?
Yeah,
with,
that
like,
was
the
so weird. I agree.
I
that
showed
was
it to John, and he was like, why are you making me watch this?
Yeah.
And then the last one was the Coffee Mate cold foam tongue commercial. Yeah. John said he felt violated after watching that one, which I think all of this is funny, but there is a little bit level of tactic that I'm still talking about those three commercials because I was like, what?
Yeah.
We were so weirded out by the three of those. I've shown John and Skylar. She doesn't remember the Tubi one with the cowboy hat. Dustin was who pointed that one out to me. I was like,
so weird.
What in the world?
Yeah, that one was weird.
But it stuck out, so you got to give him credit where credit is due.
Okay, so do you know the reference to the Hellman's ad? Do you know what that was even about? Because it's a movie that
special time between two adults, or
so it's from the movie Harry Met Sally, and those are the two actors that were from the movie. And there's a whole
again, niche. That's what I come back to each time. It's niche.
Yeah. So yes, it's less niche than it is age because
Fair.
it was one of the biggest movies for years, and that's the most famous scene from the movie. So the idea of it was that Billy Crystal is saying that he sleeps with all these women, and she says, well, maybe they're faking. And then he says, I know. And she says, how do you know? And then she
then he
goes,
says, this one sounds real. I see.
No, she just starts doing it in the middle of the restaurant. That restaurant. It's in that scene. And
interesting.
She goes full on into it in the movie. That was actually very tame in the commercial in comparison. So yeah, that's what it's referencing. And obviously not targeting Gen Z.
And so I was just like, what? Lots of people, because it was of course on TikTok, were like, I watched it with my mother. Like my dad was sitting next to me on the couch, and it was just like, yeah, that's a choice. I mean, it's a choice. But again, they stood out. You got to give them credit. Even though they were weird as could be. The tongue one, John really was upset that I made him watch it.
Yeah, there was, and again, like you said, you want to be memorable, but then like on the other side, you're like, some of those are pretty rough.
A couple people kept joking they were not buying Coffee Mate anymore, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna go that extreme. Some Coffee Mate, but I'm with you.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. So those were what we thought. For me, the most memorable for me was the Bud Light cul-de-sac, and they're getting back to basics in their marketing, right? This is what they do, and so I thought that one was really good. Please let us know what you think. comment, message us, let us know what your favorite ads were or your WTF ads. Like, we'd love to hear.
WTF moments.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
So what's
next,
next?
we are going to talk about a couple. It's kind of like a two-parter, I guess you could call it. Something that I've been doing a lot this last week, and frankly, just in the last couple months, really the whole time. But I'm getting a lot of requests from different people about, I want some cute apparel, but I don't want a polo. And so it's become a topic between, especially Dad and I, of just like, there is not a ton of options like that for women in the industry. And one of the things, I've said it probably 20 times, especially in the last couple weeks, but like subtle branding is a thing, especially for women. I feel like to not have, like, as much as I love your blue, I don't want to wear bright blue all the time. I want a black shirt that maybe has a blue logo, or even a black on black. And so it was one of the things that I actually spent the entire week doing, was creating a presentation full of Fossa apparel, which, if you guys don't know, Fossa is a women-owned brand. They make the women's item first, and then they make the men's compatible, which is so rare in our industry. I feel
it's
like
the opposite.
So
it's the opposite.
It's literally the opposite, which I feel like with most things, honestly. And so that's kind of been our topic lately.
Yeah. So just for background, I mean, apparel in the branded merch industry was, you would do a golf shirt and then you would do a ladies version of it. And I mean, they didn't actually do ladies versions for a long time. There was one golf shirt. Yeah. Then they made a ladies version and they just made it a smaller version. And so it's come a long way.
Yeah.
And there are certain suppliers who are better at it and more fashion forward. So the two things that we are seeing as a trend that I think is good, and I think that's sort of the point of this, is you don't have to do boring apparel. So and so fashion forward, female friendly, and then not just a giant logo on the left chest. What I've said for years is a left chest logo, which again we do a lot of that.
I was gonna say, I have a lot of them.
But it says uniform. When you see somebody show up on your door and they're like, it's actually one of those things I think a lot of us do subconsciously, is if they're not wearing a logoed shirt and they say they're from XYZ company, you're questioning whether they're actually from that company, right? It's one of the things that says, hey, I'm officially with the brand. So if you're wearing that at a trade show or an event or whatever, these things make sense. But what we're seeing more and more is left chest, back yoke.
Yeah. Even down by the pockets. Yeah, somebody did a side one. I thought that was kind of cool. There's just so many different options. And even one of the things my sister and I were talking about was the tone on tone is really a popular thing right now. I have a couple different hoodies. Like, I have a green hoodie that has a matching thread, but has a green imprint on it. It's a huge imprint. Like, frankly, it's a little bit bigger than I originally wanted it to be. But I kind of love it because it's the tone on tone. It's not quite as, like, in your face. Now it says I'm literally just a girl, because I am literally just a girl. But it is such a fun way to, like, do a less obnoxious. I'm here with Hasseman Marketing. It's just, hey, I'm here with Hasseman Marketing. I feel like that's the tone it gives.
Yeah, I think the thing that I heard somebody say, and I'd give credit if I could remember who said it, but it's like, one of the things that you can do is create a piece of apparel that they wear to the event, to the business event, that they're excited to just keep wearing at the after party.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and so I think that that's a trend we're seeing that I'm excited about, because I think, and the other thing I would say, and this is, you can speak to this, but ask for, I'm trying to think of how to say this right, but like men and women, this shouldn't be groundbreaking. We have different desires and needs. So ask for things that fit that, right? So like you, just based on this, you created a presentation and then it was all women. But I was like, okay, cool. We can add some stuff to men's, but we might like golf shirts as long as they're nicer ones, stuff like that. And then the other thing you added was shoes, and I thought that was kind of cool too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is one of the things I kind of did with this presentation is kind of go head to toe. Like, your branding doesn't have to be left chest t-shirt, left chest polo, whatever it is. It can be a cool hat. It can be, I'm getting some custom sneakers made with our Hasseman Marketing logo on it, and I'm really excited. I just got the proof today. I'm really excited to get those. So it doesn't have to be obnoxious branding. I even saw, and one of the things I recommended was somebody did like a jogger style pant and then did like an above the knee embroidery. It doesn't have to be your left chest. Think outside of the box. And if you're looking for something like that, you can always ask the person that you're buying it from. Like, and that's the call that I got was, give me something different. I don't want something that you show everybody else. Don't show me that stuff. And so it was a fun challenge for me, and I've really enjoyed it. And it's kind of challenge yourself. Try some new stuff, get some new virtuals, and see what you like. Because your team might like it, and then they're repping you outside of work.
Yeah.
Kind of the point.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, well, that's good. All right, so you challenged me on this next topic. I did. And this is hard. So her question to me was, if you had to do one promotional product or branded merch item and recommend it to everybody, right? Am I representing the question?
Yeah.
What would it be?
But only one. So you have.
Yeah. So one item. And so I messaged her back and said, can I give you 3? And she's like, no, that defeats the purpose. You can't do that. Okay. So I will give you my one, and feel free to give me your thoughts about what mine is. Like, give me a feedback on that, but then you give me your one, and then I might have an honorable mention. It's fine. And so if I had to get, like, if every single client, if I had to make one promotional product recommendation, it would be the t-shirt. The t-shirt done well is classic. You can wear it at work. You can wear it after work. It's a fashion statement. It's the thing that you get at the concert. And when you pick a t-shirt that's actually soft and comfortable and you want to wear, and there's a cool design on it, I think you can really do something. And the thing that, back to the idea of trends, the thing that I'm seeing that I love is the same kind of concept, in that it's not just necessarily a giant logo across the chest. It might be a message of some sort here that your the folks that follow your brand can rally behind. And then maybe you put your logo a little small on the back. I'm seeing that. So that would be, if I had one to recommend. What do you think of that?
I love it. T-shirts were, we kind of fought over this. So we may have prepped this one a smidge, so we didn't say the exact same thing. T-shirts were the one that I was considering, because I agree. T-shirts are something you're going to wear. They'll live forever, in my opinion. So I'm a big t-shirt person. Even if they're a yard work t-shirt, like, you still keep it, because it's still a t-shirt you keep. I'm going to do it a little bit outside of the box for mine. I am going to recommend calendars. They're one that not everybody thinks of very often, and they can be completely customized, and a lot of them are US made. Not all of them, but some of them USA made. And so you can completely customize it. People are going to leave it up all the time. Ironically, I don't have a calendar here right now, and I'm wishing I had one. It's ironic. It's almost like we sell this stuff. The year at a glance ones are always nice, but also the 12-month ones are always really good. You can do fun things like scenery and just have your logo at the bottom, or you can customize each and every single page to make it a good message to your people. And so I think it's a cool way to do something a little bit more unique. That's not that there's anything wrong with other things, but just, it's not a pen, because pens you have 1,000 of. You really only keep one calendar. You have one good calendar that lives on the fridge.
Yeah, it's funny. It used to be everybody got a calendar, and so then people veered away from them. And now a lot of people aren't doing them. And so I think it's a great time to zig when other people are zagging. And so I believe a calendar is foundational. So I love that one. And my honorable mention is just drinkware, right? A quality piece of drinkware. You know, I like the vacuum tumblers, but big imprint area to tell your story, whether that's a message or the logo or whatever. You don't have to do sizing. And if it's a quality piece, it will be kept around for a long time. So those are, I know I broke the rules, but that was my honorable.
Okay. I'll allow it this time.
Okay. All right.
We're going to do my favorite. This next we are going to be talking about Dad was right, Dad was wrong. And it is funny. These are somewhat hard to think of because you think of them in the moment and you forget immediately. However, this week Dad was right. And it was one that I wasn't prepared for. Dad was right. Being in Ohio did make 9 months without my husband a little bit easier. If you guys don't know, my husband's military. He was gone for 9 months this summer. And so my parents both kind of challenged me to come back to Ohio for about 4 months was the plan. I was there for about 6 in order to stay for our customer appreciation show and everything like that. And it did. It made the time go a lot faster being in the office being around family and seeing my nephews every weekend, every night, some weeks, and getting to spend time with everybody did make the time go a good bit faster. And I did not want to come home at first. So, but you were right in the end.
Okay, well, that's again. It's funny. I'm taking less joy from being right than I thought I would. It's good. I guess it's because I think I'm right, so it's good.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it was really nice. I think that I heard a statistic that for parents can be a bummer. It's like you spend your first 18 years of your life, you spend 18 years with your kids, and then the rest of their life, a lot of people spend less than a year together with their kids. And we've been blessed. We'll break that by a million, just because we do have a really great relationship. And like, ironically, you have a home back here that you still own, but it was rented out. So you you and Maverick ended up moving in with us. We have the space for it, so it was not a big deal. But having an adult child move back in is really hard for a lot of families. And it's
a weird adjustment.
It was a weird adjustment, and it wasn't. And I think it's because there were certainly times I'm sure that we got on your nerves and whatever, but the reality of it is I felt like it was really pretty easy, and it was great to have you. And
and I don't think I got on your nerves. My dog might have gotten on your nerves. Considering he's barked through half of this podcast, it would make sense, but but yeah, you were right. It did make it a little bit more fun for me. And being in the office I haven't been in the office yet. That was my first time experiencing working in the office. So that was cool to experience. I still enjoy working from home, but that was a fun way to break it up for a little while too.
Yeah. Well, especially around the show, because it is nice to have your hands on things when you're trying to pack stuff up for that and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so it was great to have you
again this year for the show. So
yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
I was just plugging it.
Yeah. Yeah, we will have our customer show on September 23rd. We're getting close on announcing some details. If you don't follow us on social media, it actually might be fun. We've put out our theme, and then we actually put out some logo ideas for the show, and people were voting on it. And we got a lot of response. That was actually really fun.
I did not expect us to get near as much response as we did. It's been really kind of fun to see like who voted for what too, as the one that's kind of keeping track of them. But
yeah. It was funny because I literally had a meeting an hour before we started this, and I said we were talking about a rebrand potentially for a client, and I was sitting in his office, and I said, "Here's how we're doing it." He goes, "Yeah, I saw that one, by the way." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So he kind of gave me.
People have messaged me separately, so like for what it's worth, take that into consideration. Asking for people's advice. People have like messaged me and started conversations about it, and a couple people voted for the one I didn't like. I'm not telling any of you which one it is, and I said, "No, vote for a different one." If you message me, you might find out which one it was, but you have to vote first, and then I'll tell you your answer.
Yeah, fair. Well, cool. So, real quick, we finish it every time with our shout out.
We did this.
Yes, we did. Great minds. We do a shout out each week to kind of give kudos to folks doing good work. This is my favorite thing, and I think that I was actually talking about this morning, Jade. We have a lot of good things going on in our region. I know more specifically in Coshocton because that's where, my roots are planted, but anywhere around, if you have something good going on, please let us know about it. And I think it's incumbent upon leaders to continue to tell that story, because studies will show that 89% of what we see in the world is negative. And some days I think that's low. And so pushing out the positive, I think, is a good thing. And that's why this week I'm excited to talk about one good deed. So John Larson, who has owned the Warehouse for many years here in Coshocton, it's a restaurant in Coshocton County. He had a restaurant in Dresden as well. He was a superintendent. He has been a diverse guy. And one good deed is his next thing. He's getting ready to retire from the restaurant. And essentially, he's going to get an RV. And he's going to drive all over the United States and go into small towns and encourage people to do one good deed, a random act of kindness to push out good into the world. You can learn more about it at onegooddeedjourney.com. There's videos, and you can actually donate any amount of money to help support the mission. I think it's really cool. He's going to be talking to high schools and service groups, just encouraging people to do good work in their community and how it doesn't have to cost money, right? It doesn't have to be an expensive thing. It can just be a smile or a kind word or, buying somebody a cup of coffee. So One Good Deed Journey is the .com is the website. So I would check that out. And if you can, support John and his mission. I think it's pretty cool.
That's super cool. I don't know that I understood the full extent of it. So to hear you talk about it is actually, now I'm going to go to the website. So you got at least one person to support it.
All right. That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much, Jade, as always. It's always fun to do this. And thank you so much for watching. If you know of anybody doing good work in the community, in your community, surrounding areas, please let us know. We'd love to give them a shout out and you can help us spread the word. Also, if there's any topics you want to hear us take on, this is something that we're having fun with, going back and forth. So, and I think sometimes the things that people appreciate or enjoy are when we disagree. So please feel free to
give us some controversial stuff.
Yeah, have us take a stand. So Jade, thanks. This has been fun.
Thank you.
All right.
Have the best day of your life ever.
Cool. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Better Merch, Better Marketing. We'll see you next time.
Did you see my